Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker, and we've got the entire team with us. Well, it's not huge, but I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey guys, Bakar here with Remax Team Kabani, ready to talk some real estate.
Aima Kabani, don't have an official title yet. Hussein's still establishing a value there.
Yeah, I don't know where to put this. Sometimes it's like office coordinator, sales coordinator, office manager, depending on who's asking, but mostly Chotu.
Certified Chaos Coordinator.
Exactly.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Bringing in all the entertainment.
I don't know about entertainment, but she does cut up my fruits nicely for me and bring them to the office. But that's a different story. Really, guys, what we want to talk to you guys about is kind of like what the state of the market is and how transactions are actually going down based on like what a buyer's perspective is right now and what a seller's perspective and overall how deals are getting formed. I didn't want to take this all on myself because we've changed the dynamic of how we're kind of working, and I'm starting to take more of a role of like overseeing things, and Bakar's getting more involved with our transactions and stuff like that. So everyone has their own vantage point about what's going on. So I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more open so you guys can see it from someone that's working with a lot of our buyers right now, Aima, who's dealing with the back end of the stuff and talking with the showing agents as well, and also helping coordinate the listings. So I think that we can give you guys a different perspective from the three of us about what's going on in the market right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, I think we're just trying to figure out buyer versus seller's expectations in this market because it's taking a lot to actually get a deal done right now because of these two things.
Correct. Yeah. So let's dive into it. Okay. Yeah. So like the first segment here, what we want to talk about is basically like the buyer's expectation and the buyer's mindset right now and how they're kind of thinking, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different points to harp on, but I mean, I guess we could start with the buyer's affordability versus reality. And, we were having the discussion earlier today about how someone may be ready to buy real estate today and they're approved for somewhere around $800,000. But what they can get for that price, they don't want it. And what they really want is going to cost them somewhere between, $950,000 to $1 million, but they can't afford that. So it becomes a question of, do I want to get into the market and start building equity and secure my future? Or do I want to wait it out some more and wait till I can get the money together for what I really want?
Yeah. And you know what? And not to point fingers or anything else like that, but I think this is where a really good agent comes into play as well, right? Like a buyer agent. Because, I mean, Aima can comment on it as well, is that when we have listed a property lower, trying to get offers onto the property, there's a completely different feedback that we're getting from agents that are actually showing the property. Maybe you can give us some insight on that.
I guess when we're doing our feedback calls, the intention is just to find out, hey, what is it that we can change from our end? For example, we stage our properties really well, but sometimes someone will say something that we could change around to make it look a little bit more appealing. But what I've noticed is that even though we're talking about, hey, how does the house look or the space and things like that, naturally the conversation does get directed towards price and, what the expectations are and things like that. And what I've noticed that a lot of buyer agents are doing is when we're chatting about properties, they'll go straight to, but buyers are looking for a great deal. And, there's a bunch of townhouses, for example, on the market right now that are $699. So that's what they want. And then I often have to ask them, like, which properties? Because I obviously, when I'm doing my feedback calls, I open, your comps in front of me and the charts and things like that. And they're almost saying things that I'm not seeing. It's like not existing.
Sense,
yeah.
Right? And like, I'll give you guys an example. And basically, like the example I have is that the listing that we have in Whitby, right? It's a townhouse. It's a back-to-back townhouse. Beautiful property, 1,632 square feet. Like it's really nice, Mattamy-built place. A little plug there. But like, look, we tried that offer game. We priced it a bit low, and then we tried to get offers. We didn't get offers that day, and then we priced it to where our expectation is and where the market actually dictates based on comparable sales of where this property should sell at, right? But then what do we have? We have properties that are listed that are a lot nicer. Our clients would agree that it's a way nicer property that's listed. So we're listed now at $825, and then we have another property that's way nicer that's listed at $799. Now, when Aima's calling for feedback on our $825 property, they've gone and shown the $799 property, right? So they go show the $799 property, and then we're asking for feedback on ours that's listed at $825. They're like, you're grossly overpriced. This one's listed at $799, and we're pretty much going to make an offer for $775, and we're going to get it. There's no chance these guys are getting over $800,000 for this property. Guess what? How much did it sell for?
965 or
Yeah,
around
962, 500. That's
listed
right.
at 799, sold at 962. And I mean, I'm on the ground with the buyers, right?
Sure.
So if I'm showing a property that's listed at 825 and that's the actual asking price or around there,
Yeah.
I'm going to let my buyers know that this is kind of where we are. That's where the market is. If I'm showing a property that's listed at 799 and they're holding offers, I've already done the research. I already know that this property in this neighborhood with these characteristics is going to sell for somewhere around 950.
Yep.
So I tell my buyers that hey, it's listed at 799.
Yep.
It's probably going to go somewhere around 950.
Yep.
But I guess we can wait and see at the offer presentation date. This one over here in Whitby, it's listed at 825. The value is around 825.
Sure.
But a lot of these agents are not doing that.
No.
They're giving their buyers false hope.
And I hear you guys have these conversations in the office, so I know that you're doing it. But unfortunately, like I've told you guys, when I do the feedback calls, I feel like a lot of the agents are not doing that.
Yeah, and then what they're kind of doing, and what they're letting their buyers do is like basically throw in like lowball offers on properties that just don't make any sense, right? Like this is probably going to come out like after we're done with this deal, anyways. But like we had a property that we listed back at like $699, and we're holding back offers. We got 3 offers, and we sold quite a bit over that asking number conditionally, anyways. That's why I'm hoping this can be afterwards. But like then I had a guy that called me the next day say, "Oh, did you guys sell? Because like my buyer wants to come in like 30 grand lower than our marketing price." And I'm just like, dude, like where do you get the logic of this? Do you know what I mean?
Or how do you even pick up the phone and even ask that question?
It just seems like why would you get someone like this to represent you?
Yeah.
And then it's hard for me to understand. Like one more example about this buyer thing, I'll tell you, is like I was having a conversation with a listing agent that basically has a property for sale that's a bank sale, like a power of sale, and they have it listed at 825 or something like that. Yeah, 825, same number I guess, but 825 out in Oshawa. And basically he's like, dude, like someone sent me an offer for $500,000 because they think it's a bank sale that they can go $325,000 below the asking price. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like we're almost talking land value here at this point. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it doesn't take that long to pull up the comps and to understand the market value.
Yeah.
You know, if a house is worth 850, the neighborhood's going to show us it's worth 850. Just because it's listed at 600 doesn't mean you can get it at 6.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so I think that this is kind of dragging the market down. And I think that the buyers are actually in the wrong category where they need to be in, right? So if they're buying like an $800,000 house, somehow their agent and their perspective has positioned them that, hey, like I can actually get this for $650,000 or $700,000. And maybe that might be the case down the line. But right now, I don't think that the sellers are that desperate to take, that much of a hit on their property right now.
I will add one more thing about the agents, and I've found this again because I'm talking to so many of them, as that if the property's in Durham, there's a lot of them actually coming from Mississauga and Brampton area, and so they'll tell me, yeah, we're coming every weekend to Durham, and so we're very familiar with the area. But then again, in conversation, you find out that that's not actually accurate. They're making a lot of trips, but
a lot of the time, their agents are also from Mississauga or Brampton.
Yeah, they live there.
Who are
yeah.
not that familiar with the Durham region market, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, at the end of the day, guys, this leads to frustration on the buyer's end too. And they might also be losing on opportunities where they can get. Like even, I'll wrap this one up, but like even yesterday when we were having this offer presentation, we knew from your feedback that there was some agents that were interested and they were just hesitant. They called me this morning and they were giving me a number that would have probably worked from them last night, but they hesitated yesterday and they lost out on something. They were super disappointed. There's like, hey, like if anything changes in your deal, hopefully it works out. But if anything changes, like, please let me know because I think we messed up. Right? Okay. So like, that's kind of like the buyer's side in a nutshell. Like, correct me if this is not covering it all, but it just seems like where they're getting their coaching, their advice and whatever else, the buyers that are on there, they think that they can buy something like up here for this low of a price and just the expectations are not lining up.
I mean, what's the one thing that we're hearing constantly right now? The deal.
Yeah.
We want the deal. The buyers want the deal. And the problem we're having in communication with the buyers and the buyers' agents is that a lot of these properties are priced at a deal price.
Yes.
Like let's say we have recent comparables and the market value on this property is 900 and we're pricing it at 850. All the recent sales are showing 900.
Yeah.
We're already $50,000 below the market value. Yep. So how much more of a deal do you want?
Yeah. And again, I know I said I'll move on, but like we just helped the buyer get into a property right now too, listed at $1.2 million. I actually thought that the price was really good.
Agreed.
At that list price, I thought it was a good price for that property, really well maintained. But guess what? We didn't lowball them. We went back with them with logic, and we still were able to negotiate 50 grand off the price. I think that we probably, at the very minimum, beat the market by $25,000 on that. That house should be eyes closed, 11.75 all day long, if not more.
Deals are out there.
Yeah.
But you have to be logical in your thinking as a buyer.
And you know what? At the end of the day, the listing agent wants someone to come across with logic. Because how many phone calls do I get from the people basically saying, oh, like I'm going to come in $150,000 under. It's like, but how? Like, just give me some logic. Like, so if you're an agent watching this and you're going to call me and give me a price for a property, please back it up with some comparable sales, because know that I've done them and I have them. And guess what? My mind works like the MLS system. I have an archive. Like, I'm able to pull this data up.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be done with the buyers, and I'm going to leave the buyers to Bakar.
No, we're not done with the buyers. We want the buyers. We're just
hey, but guess what? Our buyers are
very smart,
very educated, very smart, and they're serious buyers.
Yeah.
They know what they want. They want to get into the market, and they want to trust a professional that knows how to get them in and close and get them a really good deal on a property.
Absolutely.
And as they should be. And you know, guys, we know today majority of the information is online.
Yes.
You know, if you're a buyer, if you're about to buy something, probably the biggest transaction of your life, you know, there's resources out there for you to go and do your research and understand market value and numbers. And we know we're experts, and we're going to do that for you as well. But you having that knowledge as well is going to help you tenfold.
Yeah.
Right.
And just because you said, I'm going to put this out there because of the open house I was doing, I got some feedback like this. If you're on a website that connects you with an agent to book a showing for a property, it doesn't mean you're tied to this person by any chance. Okay. So just like, hey, be careful about who you sign up with to work with. Okay. There's a lot of amazing agents. I know a ton of them. But just do your research, right? Just because someone showed you one property, it's their listing or whatever, doesn't mean you're obligated to work with them. Like, do your research, check them out on social, see what they're about, and you'll probably get a better vibe, and talk to a bunch of people too, right? I think we're awesome, and I want everyone to work with us, but hey, we might not be a good fit for you at the same time.
Absolutely.
Make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. The next segment I want to talk about is the sellers, right? Basically, with the sellers, what are we seeing there? We were talking about it earlier as well, is like basically our sellers anyways, like we're not in a mindset, our sellers are not in the mindset of pricing at 2022 pricing at the peak of the market. Our sellers are pretty reasonable with what they want to try to get for their property. And the listings that we are putting onto the market, I feel are pretty reasonable.
I think we're priced very fairly based on today's market.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that the absolute peak of the market in the GTA was February of 2022.
Correct.
Since then, we've seen slow decline. Some portions have gone more steeply inclining, but for the most part, prices are not where they were, and sellers were still expecting that price. Guys, it's been 3 years. You know, like it's a different market. You know, like let's understand what's happening today. If you really want to sell your property, you have to understand today's market. And like you said, our sellers, we educate them enough, and a lot of them are educated on their own, where they're smart with their pricing, and that's the only way you're going to sell in today's market. Right?
Yeah,
being
exactly.
realistic.
And the thing is that even with the listings right now, I think that, you know, maybe some people want to cut corners because it's going to sit on the market a little bit longer or whatnot. But I think presentation is king right now, right? Yeah. Like the thing is that it was important before, but I think I say this all the time, but I think presentation is always very, very important for your property, right? Because what I tell people is that, you know, I want to make it feel like a model home. Like if you ever walk through a model home, you get that feeling in your heart, right? Like in your chest that, wow, this is like really nice. And you start to see yourself living in there. And that's what I want. As much as I don't want someone sitting on someone else's furniture, but it's like, that's actually a good sign. Like if somebody feels comfortable enough to sit down and kind of like lay back, like I think that's good. And that's the environment that we want to create with our listings.
And I feel like a lot of times I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like sellers are thinking always staging, but we talk about this all the time, which is when we say presentation is key, we're not just talking about staging, we're talking about decluttering, getting rid of things that you don't need, getting the house thoroughly cleaned and things like that. So I feel like there is a lot that the sellers can do to, and especially when you guys tell me there's so much inventory out there, it's how do you stand out? And I feel like this is one of the things to stand out with.
And there's very little things that we're talking about as well, and we're talking as small as having dirty dishes in the sink, like even one coffee mug, right?
Yeah.
You know, when I come into a house with a buyer, I want that place looking pristine.
Yeah.
Because my buyer, that one little thing might bother them.
Yeah.
And that's all it might take for them to walk away to the next house.
Yeah.
And look, we went out to preview some homes, and what did we see? We saw a home that we didn't necessarily like too much, but the walls were painted freshly, like a neutral
Yes.
white kind of color.
Yeah.
They had like pot lights.
Yeah.
They had some decent flooring in there. The house showed way better than it probably would have without these things, right?
Yeah.
Like a little bit of paint,
Yeah.
a little bit of adding a different lighting fixtures. I think that small things like this, I get that it could be an expensive investment, but it goes a long way to help you stand out in the market.
Yep, I agree.
The other thing I wanted to kind of touch on, because this is still a strategy that we've been using and we see out there in the market right now, is bidding wars, right? Like, so underpricing listings and like trying to drive up the price.
So I think what we've noticed on that end is if you're going to do it, you have to be aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Yeah.
Very aggressive. Listen, you've had some very aggressive experiences lately. Let's talk about those.
Well, let's talk about the one,
Yeah.
right? So the one, what do we initially list it at?
You're gonna. I have.
Would be.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we were initially at $7.99.
Yes.
Was he at 7.99?
Yeah, it was
And we only
$7.99.
did a 8.25?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
$7.49 or $7.99?
$7.49.
Yeah.
749.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes
$7.49.
more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a 749.
Yep.
Held back offers.
Yes.
Didn't get anything.
Nothing.
Okay.
Yep.
Why? Because some guy's price at 699. That one's 900 for his house. But
Yeah.
anyways, so we didn't get anything because we don't have a good value at 750, which
Yep.
I think was a steal of a deal.
Steal of a
Steal.
deal,
But
yeah.
anyways, then we repriced it to 8.25.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Thinking, okay, we're market value. We checked the comps. Yeah, we don't have a backyard. Sure, I adjusted for that. We don't have a basement. Adjusted
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
we have a big house. Whatever. Right. So we did the correct thing, priced it up back at 8.25. And then what happens? We really get no traction on the house, right?
Quiet.
A little bit, yeah, but nothing really happening over there. Then what do we have to do?
We priced it at
$6.99.
$6.99.
And then what happens?
Three
25 showings. 25 showings
Yep.
and a lit open house. Like
Yep.
we had 8 to 10 groups of people through the house on Saturday and Sunday each day. And we had, on top of that, we had 25 showings.
Yeah.
So what do we end up getting? We had like almost like 45 groups of people
Yes.
walk through the house
Yep.
in a matter of 6 days.
Yes.
Multiple offers.
And then we got multiple offers. I mean, did we get exactly what we wanted? No. But
Close enough.
yeah, close
Yep.
enough. But it got where we wanted it to be. So to Bakar's point, like, you want to do multiple offer? Like, I don't think these agents are like the people are understanding. You gotta like really lowball it at this point.
The one good thing I find when you guys list lower is that you get to hear from a lot of buyers. Like, I think for our own little social experiment that we do at the office to say, hey, what are buyers thinking and things like that. When there's more bodies going through, you get to talk to a lot more people and you get to find out what it is that they're thinking.
Yeah.
And you guys nailed it. It's like, I think they're all driven by the low prices, looking for a steal of a deal, and that's it.
And guess what, guys? There are deals out there, and I know we keep using this one property as like the main thing. But
It's a
like,
recent example. So,
yeah, it's a recent example, and it's a real example, right?
Yeah.
Like this property that we had listed at 8.25. Well, guess what? At the peak of the market, the same property around the corner sold for 1.1 million.
Yes.
Like over 1.1 million. You want a deal? This is a
It's
deal.
already there,
Like
yeah.
it is on sale. It's a fire sale. at
20%
this
off.
point.
Yeah. 20% off.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like this is the deal. Like,
is
what
the
else do you
deal.
want?
Yeah.
All right. You can't even reconstruct the house for what you're paying for it right now.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I mean, that's I think the hurdle we're having right now
Yeah.
is explaining to not just buyers, but
Yeah.
buyers' agents
Yes.
what we have
Yeah.
and why we're priced correctly
Correct.
and trying to make them understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's one good thing that we have on our sides is that the sellers understand what it is. I feel like we've been really lucky in that department.
Well, because we keep them informed at the
Yeah.
same time, right?
With
Like
a
we
lot of
always we're in
stats,
constant
yeah.
communication with them. We set them up the right
Yes.
way with the expectations, and then we keep them in the loop of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
so-
know, in this market especially, you have to be very creative
Yes.
to try to get something sold.
Yeah.
Right? Like we talk about just playing with the price a little bit, but also there's other things that we could do to get it done. And you had a really good example recently with the condo over in Pickering.
Yeah,
on
that's
Bailey.
right. Yeah. So basically, like we had to all kind of have a group chat. We got Chris involved as well and Dixit, and we basically just said, "Hey, we're stuck with this." And what idea did we come up with? We basically came up with like not the idea itself, but what we came up with is the concept, right? Like we need to understand that we need to put something in the agent's hand that's tangible that you could take back to your client for you to stand out and make it the offer easy enough for the client to understand what is going on and what they're actually about to receive.
Yeah, guys,
And-
just to preface, we're talking about a 950 square foot condo in Pickering that was priced extremely fairly.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we were having such a tough time selling it. And it was such a good deal. And Hussein and us were all trying to brainstorm a way to sell it. And this is what we came up with.
Yeah. So basically, we came up with something tangible, which was basically saying, hey, like we're going to cover the 1 year of maintenance, right? And then what do? I think we created a really cool video, a very cool video, and we put it out there and we spent the bucks behind it to advertise it, collaborated with other people. I think we ended up with like over 60,000. Yeah, we ended up with over 60,000 views. So the stats will come up on the screen, but like it was great. And guess what happened? The buyer that bought the house or the condo, in my understanding, is that basically went to their agent or their parents' agent and said, I saw this. This seems interesting. And I saw it on Instagram.
They're offering 1 year of free maintenance fees.
Yeah, like, what's up with this? And then the agent calls me. I know the agent. He calls me and he's like, hey, Hussein, like, how are you doing this? Like, what's up? So I explained him the details. And he's like, I think we're going to buy it. Next day, he goes, books the showing, comes back with an offer on the place.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And you know, we knew that worked because like we know how the client figured out about this condo, and we know it worked because that's what was in their offer that they were looking for that 1 year. You know what I mean? So I think it was very creative. It took a whole team to figure out how to actually sell this condo, how to stand out where there's 60, 70 listings in one little spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was very cool. And this kind of leads us into a good segue for kind of the last session, right? Section of this, which is basically like, what is it actually taking right now for buyers and sellers to make a deal, right? Let's focus on the buyer first. Like if you're an actual serious buyer out there in the market right now, what do you actually need to do? How should you prepare yourself in order to get a good deal?
To call us.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
Honestly, we've always been preachers of education and understanding the market. Talk to the right agents, talk to the right people, be guided by the right people. But I think it starts at home. I think it starts online. I think there's so much information out there. I think educating yourself is the best way to understand exactly what's going on out there and how to get into the market. Yeah. But I think it takes both sides to make the deal work right now. You need an educated buyer and you need an educated seller. Yeah. And that's the way we've been able to get deals done lately.
100%.
And I feel like and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have the same kind of like portfolio in that sense, but like you guys have a lot of good mortgage agents, you guys have a lot of good, stagers, media people, social media people. So I feel like you need a team of people and it doesn't just start and end at a good real estate agent.
Like there's something I want to do is basically like when you hire us, like, or if you even look at me and say, okay, I'm going to hire Hussein to do this. It's like, you know how many layers are behind that all?
Yes,
like I think we were trying to write it down. I think that there's like 8, 9 layers behind this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, fine, you get me, but like there's a whole group of people you're getting at the same time that's actually focused on your property.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting over a decade of experience of not just the agent, but you're getting the best of the best. Yeah. The best photographers, the best videographers, the best lawyers, the best home inspectors. Tried and tested. Right?
And you know what? I think the other cool thing about it is that, because we've been doing this for such a long time, we've gone through so many home inspections and stuff like that. And even for listing our properties, we can easily kind of, not easily, but we could walk through a house and we could pick out things, right, that are going to become an issue for us, right? And maybe if we're on the seller side, we could remedy them. And if we're on the buyer side, we can make them aware of, hey, like, just be aware that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen in home inspection. Like we did a home inspection today. Yeah. And basically, I don't think that there was any surprise that came up. One surprise that came up, which is there's a bit of a leak in the basement, right? Yeah. But we wouldn't know because we showed the property when it was super dry. It's been raining for the last 24 hours. Yeah. And that leak was present. I mean, the home inspector didn't seem to think it was a big deal. We could probably get the seller to cover this thing because it wasn't expected. Yep. But we knew that the windows weren't in the best of conditions. We knew about these things that we explained to them at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? The one last thing I would like to say is agents, please drop the attitude. Right?
How do you make it work? Lose the attitude.
Honestly, guys, we're in a market today where we don't need the pride and the ego. We need to be collaborative and work together on getting deals done. Yeah. We when we're transparent and kind of help each other, it works out better because we're all in this for the best reasons for our clients.
Yeah.
Right.
And listen, not individually that we can individually win.
Yeah.
It's gonna require collaboration. And why do you think on the buyer end we call it a cooperation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
You're
we need to
cooperating.
cooperate, right, to make this deal happen. It's not me against them or
Yeah.
you against them.
Yeah.
It's we gotta collaborate and cooperate in order to make this work.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think the concept is having the right people around you
Yeah.
and being the right person, to be honest.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cool. Any last thoughts, buyers, sellers?
How do you make it work? Be realistic. We've touched on that a lot.
Yeah, work with the right agent because we've seen it. We've seen agents basically mess up deals for the clients by doing things that just should not be happening. We hold ourselves to pretty professional standards, and we just hope everybody works with people who do the same. Yeah.
Eventually, it gets weeded out one way or the other.
Yeah,
I've seen that in my 14-ish years of being licensed. So, like, there's not the same players as there were before when I first started. I'm there. I know maybe a handful of people that are still around, but not a whole lot, man, because eventually it shows in your work.
And this is not to be cocky, guys. This is like genuine care for the client, right? Like you want to put your client in the best position possible. Yeah. And if something does not look right and they're not supposed to go that way, we're going to take them and move them away from the situation.
And you know what? I think what it also takes is that, look, like for us, like, and especially for me, I would say is that I've been involved. Like I'm involved. Like, bought my first place over 20 years ago. I know I keep saying it, but like that's how long I've been watching the market. And I've been reading those magazines since I was like 15 years old or 14 years old, the Resale Homes magazine that you pick up in a yellow box. You know what I mean? Like, while people are out clubbing and doing whatever, I'm looking at condos for $120,000 for sale and saying, how do I kind of afford this? Going from that level to owning like multiple properties, including custom building a property, owning an industrial property, owning development land. So like we have a vast range of knowledge. Last year we did 40 plus, I think, leases. I think, what are we up to right now in terms of leases?
I think even just 15 already.
15, and we're not even at the end of May, and I think we got like two more on the go right now. So it's like we bring a wide experience, right? And we've been actually involved. It's not just from trying to trade for somebody else. It's like I've actually lived it, gone through it, and I've done it for ourselves. You know what I mean? So I think that's also the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. I really hope that you guys kind of enjoyed this podcast. This is a concept that we're going to try to do on a monthly basis, kind of bring you guys the state of affairs of what's going on in the market.
And behind the scenes, because I tell Hussein, like a lot of the times you guys are like looking good and you guys are out there and everything is very glamorous. And I said, there's a lot of things that are happening in the background that I don't think that people really understand, like what it is that you guys are doing, the long days, the long nights and things like that. And so this is where this kind of concept came about, which is talk about what we actually do and what kind of struggles we're going through to make things work as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it. Cool. All right, guys. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any suggestions or want to give us your insight of what you're seeing in the market or where you guys are struggling, would love to hear about it. If you guys don't feel comfortable writing a comment or whatever, just click on the link below. You'll get my calendar. More than happy to get on a quick 15-minute call with you guys and address the specific issues that you guys may be having or any kind of conversation you guys want to get into. Until next time, guys, remember one thing.
Get Kabani.
Yes, so
There we go.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.